All right, welcome to the coding section of this month's video. So what I have here is just the boilerplate that you've seen in all the previous coding videos. We've got the strategy name, we've got the initial capital, default quantity of 70, just because I like to use a 0.7 delta, 60 DT days expiration option, just as kind of like a proxy for 70 shares. That way I get a little bit of leverage and better value out of my buy-in, or rather, better value out of my allocated capital, especially given the win rate that we have on these strategies. And then, of course, my broker charges 65 cents in order to place the option order. And so I have the commission type set to cash per order 0.65. And then for the purposes of back testing, we're setting process orders on close to true. You'll want to adjust the commission value, obviously, based on your broker. And if you're actually trading shares, then you'll want to change this from cash per order to something else like cash per contract. So here we kind of have the boilerplate set up. There's a few entry criteria. The first is, well, I didn't list it in the exact order, but I wanted to kind of take care of the more complicated one first, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to call this average, high, low. And then, as I mentioned in the previous video, that's just going to be a simple moving average of the high minus the low with a look back period of 25. And then we also want to check if today is Monday. So I'm just going to create another variable called is Monday. And then the way to do that in Pinescript is there's a built-in day of the week variable. And so we just want to check, is the day of the week equal to day of week dot Monday? So that'll ensure that today is Monday. And then this is kind of the weird part. I'm just going to call this below average. We're just going to say is below average is what we're going to call it. So if you remember from the video, we are looking for the close to be less than the close of the prior day, subtracted by 1/4 of our simple moving average of the high minus low with a look back period of 25. So that's this over here. That's what that looks like. And then, of course, the final one, the final filter, is that we want to make sure that the internal bar strength is less than 20% or less than 0.2. So the IBS calculation is just going to be close minus the low divided by high minus low. So there's your IBS. And then, is below, let's just say is, well, I'll just call it IBS filter is really what I'll call it. And then that's just going to be IBS less than 0.2. And so if this is a little confusing for you, basically this is a calculation. This is checking a true or false. So this is equal to, is the day of the week Monday? And that's either yes or no, or true or false. This is equal to a calculation. This right here is a calculation. And then this is equal to, is the IBS calculation less than 0.2? So if all of these are correct, so first, that is Monday, it has to be Monday, and is below the average, and the IBS filter. So all of these have to be true. So it has to be Monday, has to be below the average calculation, and then the IBS filter also has to work. So in the bottom 20% of the bars range, then we just do strategy.entry. I'm just going to call this long, and then strategy.long for the direction. And then the exit rules are, we have my favorite long exit for the daily chart, which is the close above the prior day's high. And that's one possible exit, or we just exit on Friday because we are wanting to make sure that we don't hold into the next week, since this is supposed to be a day of the week seasonality trade. So with those conditions, we just have strategy.close and then long. Go ahead and save this. So this is what you see on the chart. And then of course you can see the trades here that were taken. And you'll notice that in our crazy bear market that we had, it caught no trades. So it, for the most part, has stayed in during the bullish periods, just because of all of its criteria that it has going on. Looks like in the 2022 bear market, it caught some good either break evens or some pretty good longs, honestly. So yeah, that's the strategy in Pinescript.